Hello, good evening. This is day two of Peace and Sustainable Development Training, the professional diploma training that is being provided by the Institute of Global Peace and Conflict Management. We started on the 1st of October, and today is our second class. For those of you who are going to join us newly, we are talking or we are discussing peace and sustainable development, which is the subject matter or which is the course title. And we have discussed so far Module 1, Unit 1. That's what we have achieved. Today we'll be discussing Unit 2. And peace and sustainable development is what we are looking at. And my name is Stavle Joshua, your instructor, your privileged instructor. So I want to appreciate all of you for your commitment. Those of you that have been joining our training right from the one we started in July, August, you joined, September, you joined, October, you are here. We want to appreciate your zeal for knowledge, your dedication for knowledge. We want to appreciate all of you, and we thank you for taking time to be part of these trainings. So we'd like to welcome all of you for today's training. And today we'll be looking at the foundations of sustainable development. The foundations of sustainable development. But before we proceed, let me just do a recap of what we learned on the first day of the training in Unit 1 of Module 1. In Unit 1, Module 1, we were able to discuss the importance, of peace building and several other topics. Okay, we discuss um, the concept of peace and conflict. We also look at the causes and the consequences of conflict, right? Because if there is a cause to conflict, then there must be a proportionate consequence. All right. So there are consequences that follow, uh, the cause of conflict. So whenever there's a conflict, then there's a price to pay for it. You understand? And you people always know the price. Properties destroyed, uh, property destroyed, and several other losses like lives are being lost because of conflict. Do you understand? So this is how it works. So whenever there is a conflict, there is price for that. Loss of lives, loss of properties, and then loss of economic opportunities, loss of livelihoods. So these are the consequences. So we discuss all of this uh, on the first day, and then we look at the approaches to peace building. What can we do, or how can we bring peace to our communities? And those were the issues we discussed in our Unit 1. So if you were not privileged to be part of the first training, these are some of the things we discussed. Just a kind of summary for you to have an idea of what we discussed in our Unit 1 of Module 1. So as it has been our tradition, if you join the training, you do way to share a link on your wall, inviting people to also take part in free training uh, of the provided by the Institute of Global Peace and Conflict Management. So you can share it with a friend, you can share it with loved ones. Let them also take advantage of this training. Our goal for this training is to see how we can reach a good number of people in a society, in our world, to make sure that we have peace. The goal is global peace. But one step to another will get to the global stage. Do you understand? So what we need to do is when you share the link, it means that indirectly you are also promoting peace. Indirectly you are promoting peace because you are calling someone attention to participate in this training. When they get the knowledge and apply the knowledge, we get peace in our communities. Problems are being solved. Do you understand? So if you share the link with someone, you are inviting them, then you are helping them, and you are helping our society as well. So don't let this opportunity just be for you. Invite others also to take part in it. So that's how it is. So thank you very much for joining us. Introduce yourself and where you join us from. You are joining us from Kenya, from Nigeria, from Liberia, from Sierra Leone, from Pakistan, from India. Let us know where you are joining us from. Cameroon, Ghana, anywhere. Just let us know where you are joining us from. So thank you very much. Once again, we are looking at the foundations of sustainable development. So, but what is sustainable development? If you want to define sustainable development, what does that mean? It refers to what? It refers to the ability to meet the needs of the present generation without compromising the need of the future generation. So the aim of sustainable development is to meet the needs of the present generation without delegating or compromising the needs of the future generation. That is what sustainable development is all about. So we're going to look at introduction to sustainable development goals. Sustainable development goals. Most of us are aware of SDGs, right? The sustainable development goals, all right? And we, the United Nations, in its wisdom, have been making efforts to see how some of the problems that confront our world are being addressed. And they are always packaged in a form of a 15-year long-term plan to see how resources will be mobilized to address some of the, itemized problems. And so we had a history of how these things come. But let me just start from the one that we have from 2000 to 2015, which is the Millennium Development Goal, the MDGs. Do you understand? The Millennium Development Goals, MDGs. I hope you have not forgotten. So after the 15 years long-term plan, they discovered that most of the problems they set out to resolve were not resolved. Maybe lack of political will, lack of commitment by the uh, member states, and all of that. So it becomes a concern, and then they say, okay, let's review. What were our challenges during the Millennium Development Goals? What can we do different? Do you understand? To achieve some of these goals. Do you understand? So, and then they introduce what we call sustainable development goals because the need for sustainability is very, 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 very important because the future generations being compromised, and then that's why there's the issue of also climate change agreement, the Paris Agreement. Why is the essence? Because the climate is vexing with human beings. Do you understand? Nature is seriously at war with mankind. Do you understand? So, and because mankind has abused the environment, then these things are coming into play. So when they look at all of these challenges confronting our world, poverty, conflict, a lack of development, political instabilities, economic retardations, and several other factors, they come up with these goals with the expectation that all the states, the member states of the United Nations will embrace them and then integrate them in their development, in their national development plan, and see how we can achieve um, at least a good result in addressing some of these problems. But I don't know. Yes, the effort have been made. Countries are doing well. Many countries are doing well, while a good number of them are still not getting it right. Do you understand? And but many countries are doing well in addressing some of these goals, while a good number of them are still finding it difficult to address them. When you look at the challenges in the Middle East, the conflict there is exacerbating, is escalating. Why? Because states relationship in the Middle East is not good, and these are some of the problems. And then this crisis exacerbate poverty, all right, health challenges, infrastructure, damages. So all of these things are, pointing at something, and that is why the prime minister, the prime minister of the Barbados prime minister was addressing the United Nations Assembly, and she was agitating for global peace agenda because, and that's what we are also talking about here. We need global peace, all right? And United Nations is also to be at the forefront. So, and United Nations in its own wisdom has been doing a lot of activities, peacekeeping, developmental initiatives to see that there is peace in our world and development. And that is why they brought about the idea of, sustainable development goals, all right, SDGs. So the Sustainable Development Goals are a set of 17 interconnected goals adopted by the United Nations in 2015. That is after the expiration of the Millennium Development Goal, which is 15 years lifespan. After the expiration of that, this emerged. Do you understand? To continue from where Millennium Development Goals ended and to improve on those areas that the Millennium Development Goals were not able to achieve. That was the reason why, and then also to build on the success stories they achieved during that period. And that's why we have the Sustainable Development Goals running from 2015 to 2030. So we have like 6 years to complete the lifespan of these as well. And so, of course, member states who are members of the countries are members of the United Nations have demonstrated commitment to integrate these goals in their development plans to make sure that these issues are addressed, and also they are also contributing resources to make sure that these issues are addressed. Do you understand? So these goals were adopted by the United Nations to address global challenges, and work towards a more sustainable and equitable future for all. Do you understand? We have global challenges. When you look at the issue of the pandemic that affected our economy and our world from 2019, 2021, it was massive. Massive destruction, massive deaths, massive business, you know, uh, you know, obstructions and all of that. So business disruption. All right, I think that's the right word. Business disruptions here and there. Do you understand? So these are the issues, and these are global issues. Conflict, because you can see the conflict between Russia and Ukraine affected food supplies, and so we are in problem, food insecurity, and then there is very high cost of food. All right, so you are buying a bag of rice in our country, 100,000 naira, 100,000 naira, a 50 kg of rice, 100,000. So you can imagine how this war affected um, food supply chain. Do you understand? So all of these have been some of the challenges that the United Nations is working to address. And so we also are here to gain knowledge so that we help in contributing to address some of these problems. Because where there's food insecurity, you can also be working to produce food to meet the needs of the people. Because all the hustles we are doing is to eat. Do you understand? And then also those of you that can provide health care. So when you over chop, when you overeat, and then certain things start coming, you go to the hospital and then see how you can dry them and then still enjoy life. Do you understand? So these are the issues. So those responsible in healthcare provisions they will be providing, those responsible in providing food supply they will be providing, so that while we address all of these, and then the issue of education, those that can provide education will provide, just like what we are doing here. Do you understand? We are providing education, peace education, to make sure that our world is better. So if we put all our effort, and that's why we are doing it for free. We are doing it for free simply because we want you to get the knowledge. Because we say maybe pay now, many of you may have interest, but the money to pay may not be there. So it's free. Just do it. Commit your time, your data, and do it. That's all. And then we are providing this training. All right. So that is what it is. And the United Nations has been working. So individually, we can also contribute to this. You are producing, you are in the, in fish farming, poultry, and so all of this will be, adding value, and then reducing the issue of hunger, which is also another problem that the United Nations is working to address. And these are global issues. Do you understand? And there's nobody that doesn't eat. So hunger is one of the killers, most especially in conflict-stricken a situation like what is happening in Palestine, what is happening in Lebanon now. There are challenges, and you can see countries like Somalia has been in a very difficult situation, and that's why you see people there don't, they look always malnourished. Are you getting the point now? And the only people in government are looking so flashy, but any other person is, and even in my country here, if you go northeast, because of conflict there, lives, properties, farmland destroy, a lot of things are going on. So it's affecting food supply chain. Do you understand? Many of the food, uh, most of the food that we eat in Nigeria are being produced in the north. So, but the north is 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 the devil with what? The devil with conflict, and so it's affecting food supply even in our country, internal food supply. So all of these things are limitations. Of recent government have to like, okay, let's open the border and the border, let people import food into the country. Let the importation of rice, which was a contraband in other administration. But this new administration is saying, okay, let's bring in, open the border, let people bring in food so that we can have food available and reduce the cost of living. All right. So why we do all of this individually, we the adding value and then reducing some of these issues. So why the country works at that level, we can work at the state level, local government level, national level, regional level, and then at the individual level, even at the community level, we all can contribute to bringing sustainable development. If you refuse to cut down trees in your locality, you are helping that environment, because when you cut down trees, there's heat. Do you understand? So when all of this gases are being emitted. There's nothing to absorb them. Do you understand? So it can cause desertification, erosion, and several other things. So all of these things are problems. You understand? And that's what the United Nations will looking to address. So let's look at a brief overview of these SDG goals as a framework for addressing global challenges. Number one goal is poverty. No poverty. We don't want to see poverty. Let everybody have a means of survival. Do you understand? Let people have a good life to live. And that's why we have a benchmark of 1.7 or $1.5 a day. At least if someone can afford 1.5 or $7 a day, then we can say that this person is out of abject poverty. Do you understand? But there are people and there are places where people cannot afford even a cent of the dollar in a day. But this is what we expect. At least you should be able to spend more than $1.7 a day, and that you will be regarded as people that are out of above the poverty line. Do you understand? So number one goal that the United Nations is working on is to end poverty in all its forms, everywhere. So make job opportunities available, make industries available, make countries that are, you see, countries like China, they are ahead of several countries because you can see massive infrastructure development in China, and this thing is helping to reduce uh, the level of poverty in their country. Do you understand? They have a population of 1 point something billion, yet it's working. Things are working. So when we are talking about Nigeria is large. Wow, Nigeria is large. How? How? In China is large. 1 point something billion. That's Nigeria is not even up to a quarter. Or one quarter, or let me say one quarter of what is. But yes, development is going on. Yes, there are poor people in China as well, but when you put the two countries on a level of comparison, then there's a problem. Do you understand? So these are the issues. So hunger is number one on the table that United Nations is working to address. So number two, that's number one is poverty rather. Number two is zero hunger. All right. So we want to end hunger, achieve food security, and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. So, but conflict is not allowing us to farm. Banditry is not allowing us to farm. That's why there's high cost of living. Even those that are disrupting farming activities, they also are feeling the pain. Do you understand? Only if they have the knowledge that, well, we need not to be doing this so that we can have peace in our nation and enjoy our nation. Then they will drop their arms. Criminals will drop their arms. Kidnappers will drop. So we'll go back to agriculture, which was also one of the mainstay economy in the 1970s. Do you understand? Before the discovery of the crude oil. So all of these can help to reduce poverty in our nation. And we enjoy food in our world. So uh, we don't want hunger. So United Nations said we don't want hunger anywhere. Let people, because hunger can also be a source of conflict. Do you understand? When people don't have a means of livelihood, everything is possible. Do you understand? They can turn to criminals, they can turn to kidnappers, they can turn to terrorists, and these things can affect our peace. So we need to end hunger. All right. So, like you all know, the popular adage that says a hungry person is an angry person. So you can see. So when you are hungry, nothing interests you. Do you understand? You don't think straight. You are so violent because hunger is you. So good health and well-being is our number three goal, which United Nations also saying that we ensure that people live a healthy lives and then spend long years of enjoying themselves. Okay, the average lifespan of a Nigerian or an African is from 50 years. You understand? Why the white 70 and above? Do you understand? So, but we have people who are living 70 and above. Look at our former president, President Olusegun Obasanjo, is getting to 90 years. He's playing football, moving around. You understand? So these are the issue. Giving speeches here and there, attending meetings and making speeches. I saw one video where they wanted to put something for him to stand. He went and dragged it over and stand and made his own speech. So these are the issues. Do you understand? So it's very hard. So this is what United Nations wants to achieve. People should live long and healthy. Do you understand? So these are the issues. So and promote well-being. So go out, do exercise, and then stretch yourself, and then let the blood circulate very well. Most of us, we don't do exercise because maybe time and all that commitment, all of that. Sometimes even to take a walk, it's not easy. Do you understand? So, and this affect us a bit. So we need to embrace well-being, do exercise, prioritize your health because health is wealth. Do you understand? If you are not strong, you cannot be able to do anything. It's when you are strong that you can walk, you can do exploit. When you are not strong, you are powerless, you are helpless. Do you understand? That is what it is. So let's embrace, let's prioritize our health. And individually, we can do it. Collectively, as a nation, we can do it. Then we will end, um, you know, health tourism, or what do you call it? Medical tourism. Do you understand? People will not be traveling to Europe to go and, and do checkups and attend to their medical needs. In our nation, we can have it. So it's a matter of prioritizing some of these things, and then we will end some of these uh, challenges. So quality education, quality education. So when we're talking about quality education, education that is productive, education that can enhance productivity, education that can give a result. That's what we're talking about. So it's not just education, quality education. And now there's a challenge generally. We did training on alternative dispute resolution. Okay, people come. We told you what mediation is all about. We told you negotiation. We told you arbitration. We told you conciliation. Come and do a simulation exercise. Let's know how where you learned what we told you. They are not coming up. You understand? So if we do not practice some of these skills, how will you apply them? We create a platform. Come. It's not perfection. Just demonstrate how arbitration take place, how mediation take place. Just demonstrate. Give them topics. Group one came, but not really too prepared. Do you understand? So we could not do group two. Did not show. Group three show unprepared. Do you understand? Only group four wiped my tears today. Do you understand? Because I was feeling the pain and the frustration. Because you take effort to do something, and then people feel that, oh, this training is free, so it's a sham. No, 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 no. This training is not a sham. It may be provided free, but it's not a sham. We want to achieve something out of this training. You understand? So as you are here now listening to me, if you think that you're just coming here to come and just play around and then get certificate, it's not going to work out. So those groups that have not participated automatically, they have been disqualified. They will not write the exams, and they will not also get a certificate. So they came for certificates, so they did not bother about the knowledge. So the certificate they will not get, the knowledge they did not get. But if you come for knowledge, you get the knowledge and you get the certificate and so as well. So that's why I say take this thing serious. Do you understand? So quality education. That's why we say education in our country is not productive. People graduate, they are not doing anything. They are looking for job, they cannot find job. People who come back from Europe get jobs and all of that. But how do they do it? In Europe, is there anything they do so differently? Yes. You understand? You can go on internship during your training. There are courses in our country that need internship we're not doing. Administrative courses, we are not doing internship. We feel that people can just graduate and go like that. No, set them on internship. Let them go and do administration. Let them go and practice how to do documentation and filing and so many other things. Do you understand? Have to write letters, have to write reports and all of that. It will help them at the end of the day to be able to do it. So we say people come and demonstrate through simulation, right? They didn't show up. So although this kind of training we are doing here, peace and sustainable development, may not require such because it's a different kind of training. But alternative dispute resolution is a practical course. And the next one we are doing, that is the November one, is going to be peace and conflict management. So that one too is going to be practical. Practical, after the training, we'll go through the practicals because that's what we call role playing. So we're going to do role playing to resolve conflict, different types of conflicts. Do you understand? So it will help us. So this is what we're talking about, quality education. So we must provide it, and we must also be willing to go through the stress of acquiring this quality education. If time is required, if energy is required, put in the energy to do it. Do you understand? So ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities. This is what we are doing. For those of you that are members of the institute, every month we provide training so that people can embrace the culture of learning new things and new skills and improving on their skills and all of that. So this is how we are moving. And we believe that you also can come and join the membership. But so far as this training is concerned, this training is going to be running every year monthly so that more people can gain knowledge. And it doesn't matter. I have professors that used to join this training. Do you understand? So many people are coming. I have doctor who is a HOD in Abuja University, University of Abuja. He is not just, he has 4 PhDs. He has 7 masters. Do you understand? He's a member of the institute. At the same time, he is joining our training. In fact, when he was as if he was going to miss the grouping for the alternative dispute, he kept disturbing me that I should give him a group until I assign him a group so that he can also participate in that. Do you understand? So this is what we're talking about here. This somebody have 4 PhDs, not just ordinary PhDs, so medical doctor, that is public health. Do you understand? So you understand that, and yet is here doing this. So that's what we're doing here. So we are not playing here. And some of them that understand this thing knows what we are trying to do. Professional training, this professional training. All right. So let's move forward. Gender goals or gender equality and clean water and sanitation. So gender equality is also another problem where, we relegate women and we don't want to give women their rightful places. But I can assure you that some of those countries that give women chance to lead, they are the most peaceful countries. Look at Poland. Look at Switzerland. Look at Scotland. Sorry, Iceland. Iceland is the most peaceful country in the world. The prime minister is a woman. Look at Germany. The woman that left. You understand? So giving women a chance to participate in governance can help reduce some of this, noise about leadership. Do you understand? Women can do more exploit and can bring stability. Do you understand? Because generally, God created women to be submissive. Do you understand? So submitting to the will of the people, women can do it, but men, arrogant and pride. Do you understand? So this is the issue. So we need to balance this thing so that women can have equal opportunity to participate in some of these affairs. Even as a country, there was an issue of 14% or 45% affirmative. Do you understand? So that women can get opportunity to be involved. But I don't know whether we have been implementing it anyway. So, but this is the issue. So clean water sanitation. Clean water and sanitation is also goal 6. Ensure availability and sustainable management of water. And let me tell you, water scarcity can cause problems. Okay, look at the conflict that is happening in the Middle Belt, for instance, is as a result of these things. Do you understand? When dry season comes, and those people rearing animals cannot have a place to some of the what do you call it, the tributaries dry off. Do you understand? So they have to travel to distances to look for water to feed their animals. Do you understand? And so as a result of these things, it's affecting food productivity, is also affecting the peace of the nation. Do you understand? When and then it's also causing crisis. So these are the issues. So we need clean water and sanitation everywhere for people. People can also move when there's no water. You understand? So affordable and clean energy. Yes, we need clean energy because our world, you see, the greenhouse gases we're talking about, issue of climate change, we are crying here is because there's so much compostable activities, and then they are, emitting all these gases, and they are affecting our world, hitting the environment, hitting the climate, and so it's affecting the world. You understand? That's why we see tsunamis, we see fire disasters here and there. We see so many things are happening. You see snow everywhere. Do you understand? All of these things are as a result of climate change. So affordable and clean energy we have. And of course, when we're talking about clean energy, we're talking about renewable energy. Do you understand? So that by the time we are using electric cars, no emission and all of that, our world will be better. People can live long and then fulfill destiny. So decent work and economic growth. So these are the things that United Nations is working to achieve. Do you understand? So promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, full and what productive employment, not just people putting you as casual staff, not just people giving you job as if they are helping you. You understand? Like, and without them, you cannot get a job. Do you understand? So that kind of mentality you moved. Do you understand? And then decent work for all, decent work for all, decent work for all. Yes, at your level of education, at least get something reasonable, because you cannot get a job higher than your education. So you have to your education and the job you are getting must commiserate each other. So that's it. So um industry, innovation, and infrastructure is goal 9. Industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Countries that understand these things are doing so much to move on ahead. You can see what we are using here. You are in your room. I am here in my room. We are connecting. We are discussing. We are sharing knowledge using technology. So innovation, creativity, industries is what we need. You understand? You can see Ajakuta me, if they have been struggling for it to stand. Still, Ajakuta still rather. They have spent, I don't know how many billions that have gone, dollars, not even naira, $1 billion. It's still working. Our refineries are looking at us like just like that. No development. Nothing is showing up. In fact, roads. If I ask you come from Abuja, from Lagos to Abuja now, you say no, 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 there's no road. From Kwara, the last time I traveled to Kwara, I cried like this. How can we have roads like this? I get a point now. With all the billions and trillions that used to fly about, where are they going? We are not seeing it in the city. Here, we are not seeing it. Practically now, it's generator that we are using here to do this training. Do you understand? So these are some of the things. So industry, innovation, and infrastructure, we need them. Building infrastructure that can take a long period of time. We thank God here we don't have earthquakes, we don't have all these tsunamis and all these hurricanes. We don't have them here. But the disaster we have here is disaster of leadership, leadership disaster. You understand? So people sometimes compromise, and that's why you see building collapse. People use of standard building. Some of you were aware of what happened in Lagos some time ago, where a building collapsed, a project building was going to collapse, and then even kill the developer of that place, of the place. So these are some of the things. Do you understand? So reduce inequality. Reduce inequality. That is number 10. Goal number 10. Reduce inequality within and among countries. Even countries are not balanced. Do you understand? Some are doing well. Look at what we call the developed and underdeveloped countries or developing countries, whatever name you want to give them, or low developed countries. Do you understand? High developed countries and low. So we want to balance this thing. And that's why they are agitating at the United Nations to give African nations, African countries, a permanent seat at the United Security Council, United Nations Security Council. Do you understand? Africa need a permanent seat. But they should not just go and be dogmas. They should not just go there and then be useless. How can you be a permanent member in the Security Council and you don't have veto power? So you two should be given veto power just like America, France, and other ones have. Do you understand? So that's why it is. So by so doing, we balance these things. If it's developing or is developed in the West, it developed in Africa, then we have development everywhere. In the Middle East, we have development, and then we will know that we are going uh, to reduce some of these challenges we're talking about. So sustainable cities and communities, sustainable cities and work communities, and of course, when there is this reduction in equality, people will not be traveling for, say, I'm going to Europe to go and find a good job. I'm going to this one to go and find a good job. Do you understand? They will stay here and have good job. Do you understand? So sustainable cities and communities. Yes, make city and human settlement inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Don't build houses that rain will just come and wash. No, no, no. Don't build on waterways. Do you understand? And make our cities sustainable. Our cities are very dirty. In Africa, we have Kigali as one of the cleanest cities. Do you understand? And then we have maybe countries, places like um, Casablanca and Rabat, also clean. Do you understand? But some of our major cities in Nigeria, very dirty. Do you understand? So we have to make some of these things available, and there must be master plans to doing all of these things, so that people will not construct on waterways, and then when comes, it will not have a place to pass, and then wipe everything, wipe the building, wipe, so it affects our life. So responsible consumption and production is our goal number two, so that we have to eat, but let's eat in such a way that it will not deprive the future generation. So that's why we say ensure sustainable consumption and production. We should not overproduce. We should not just go and cut trees indiscriminately. You understand? If you want to cut down trees, cut the ones that you need. And then when you cut, you plant. That's what we call deforestation and afforestation. So if we cannot afforest, then don't deforest. Do you understand? It's as simple as that. But if you must deforest, then you must afforest. That's you must pay. You must pay the price of planting a tree there. Do you understand? So these are the things that we're talking about here. Action. Climate action is our goal. Number 13. Take urgent action to combat climate. Take urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. All right. Take what? Urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. So that is it. So we have Paris Agreement, but we keep hearing the United Nations Secretary General complaining all the times that countries are not committing to what they agreed to do, to mobilize resources to address some of these issues. And then even some countries, even when the reality of the resources comes, they still divert it, and then these things are affecting. All right. So life below water. You see the issue of climate change and all of that. You see what happened in Meduguri of recent. Very terrible situation. All right. So these are the issues. So life below water. Yes, we need to preserve and protect the fishes and every animal that lives in the oceans, the seas, and marine, so that we will not just go and be fishing anyhow, use chemicals and fish. No, do fish. No, 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 no. It's not correct. So life on land must also be protected. So protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems. Do you understand? Also, living in ecosystem, the animals are just killing others. And man is also killing and eating the mass. Do you understand? So, sustainably manage forest, combat desertification, and hot and reverse and land degradation and hot biodiversity loss. So all of these things are the things that the United Nations is committing to address. Then peace, justice, and strong institutions. That is goal number 16. So, and this is one of the things that we are trying to address here. Peace and sustainable development. Peace. We need peace in our world. For us to achieve all of these things that we're talking about, the one thing that must be in place before we can achieve that is peace. If we don't have peace, there cannot be good hospitals, there cannot be infrastructures, there cannot be farming, there cannot be no education. I get the point now. So, um, one of the things that we need is peace. Peace is the basic thing that we need to make sure that order of this aspect of the women we're talking about takes place. Then partnership for the goals. All right. So we need partnership, we need collaboration, both private, non-governmental, public institution, government, and international multinationals coming together to provide resources to make sure that some of these issues are being addressed. So this is the introduction, and this is what the Sustainable Development Goals are about. So now the question is, what are you doing in your own community to bring about sustainable development? What are you doing in your own community, in your own little way as individual? When you cut a tree, do you plant it? Do you plant another one? Or you just cut and then go your own way? What about those of you that are using charcoal, or that are using they are cutting trees to just make charcoal? What about those of you that are using wood to cook? Do you understand? So all of these things are causing problems. But the truth of the matter is that people who use wood to cook is because they cannot afford 1 kilo of one kg of gas is how much now? If you want to buy 14, 12.5 is about 15,000 in Abuja here. I don't know other places. You understand? So these are some of the things. So people have to use their charcoal and use their any way they can cook and eat, because how many people can afford to buy? And the worst thing is that even the gas, is I don't know what that gas used to last in my own house for how many hours. Before we used to refill gas, it will last like 1 month, 2 weeks. Suddenly, it's not even reaching up to 3 weeks. I check. I thought maybe it's leaking somewhere, but you know, I'm not understanding. Do you understand? So these are some of the things. So it is affecting. So many people cannot afford some of these things, and of course, it will affect our environment. So I hope we are making sense, right? And let me address something. I'm coming. So, sorry, I was trying to restore something. Hope we are making sense, right? And we are making progress. All right. So thank you for keeping on. Yes, let's make the progress. All right. Now let's go to unit. Okay, unit two, part B. So we're looking at the interlinkages between development and peace. What are the interlinkages between development and peace? The truth of the fact is that development also bring about peace, and peace also enhances what development. So it's like they support each other. So without sustainable development, there will not be a sustainable peace, and without sustainable peace, there cannot be sustainable development. That is the truth. When infrastructures are being developed, when jobs are being created, when houses are being provided, when water is available, clean and drinkable water is available, when transportation costs reduce and several other things are being reduced, these can bring peace. Education, quality education is provided. Education is made free. I was maybe I will take time. Maybe one day I'll show you a video I saw about Botswana. I don't know whether we have people from Botswana joining this training, but I learned about Botswana, and they say that the education there is free. Even the higher institution is free. Do you understand? And then you are also even being given allowance to go to school. Do you understand? Go to school free. They're still giving you allowance. Do you understand? And I learned that their first public university, their first university, the university in the country after independence, the first public built by all the citizens of the country. You know what they did? Each of them contributed one cow, and so they sold the cows. The number of cows they received to European unions and all this United Nations in dollars, and then build that university. You understand? And all the people that contributed a cow, the families that contributed, their name, there's a monument that shows that university. And I can tell you for free, check their Botswana Polar. That's their currency. Very strong economy. You can support $1 is 13 point something Botswana Polar. 13. You understand? When you talk about, I think 100 Botswana Polar, oh, I'm talking about 100. It's not even up to 100. It's about 40 something thousand. 40 something thousand naira. You can imagine. So you can see that's just it. Oh. I just want to give you a little. So quality education and development can bring about peace. And do you hear crisis in Botswana? Do you hear conflict in Botswana? Have you heard any story that Botswana have conflict here and there? They are trying to resolve conflict. No, no, no. Why? Development is sustaining the peace, and the peace at the same time is sustaining the development. These are I'm talking about interlinkages. Do you understand? So, but let me just itemize some of the areas that these things is working out. Economic development and peace. Economic development and peace. So we must emphasize economic development. People should not just come into leadership and give us excuses. It's always beats my heart when you see somebody is contesting for an election, promise you heaven and earth. But once they are there, they start accusing the previous government, accusing everybody. You saw all those things. But why were you contesting, for goodness sake? So you were not there to give excuses. It was because the government, the previous one was bad, that you were elected to redeem what was bad. And then it's like we are moving from frying pan to real fire. And they keep on telling us stories that we should be patient, this thing will take time for us to come out. They are making for us to come out of it. When Dangote refinery started, even to supply crude oil to Dangote to produce, they refused. He was buying crude oil from other countries to come and process. Now they go again and buy the same crude oil they buy PMS that they refuse to supply crude oil to process. They go back again and buy in dollars in this country, in this Nigeria. Telling us stories that because Dangote bought in dollars, so they have to say in dollars. And when we start supplying him in naira, we can buy from him in naira. I think that kind of thing. We cannot develop like that. Then stories of people having refinery in the mortar and all of that, and that's why they're frustrating other people say. But I don't know, but if it's true, why should we not pay attention to our own national development? We started, for instance, Nigeria we can say is a sibling or a mate when you compare Nigeria to Malaysia, Singapore. All of them got independence at that time. Do you understand? And where those countries are going, where are we? Economic development and peace. These things must be advanced because economic development is a driver of peace, right? So when you reduce poverty, when you reduce inequality, when you reduce grievances that can often lead to conflict, then you are developing. And this is one of the linkages: economic development and peace. Another one is social development and peace. Social development and peace. Social development includes investment in education, healthcare, and social services. They can contribute to peace by promoting social cohesion, inclusivity, equity within societies. Addressing social inequalities can help to prevent tensions that may lead to conflict. Some of these crises we're having is because of social problems. They have and they have not. Do you understand? Wealth are not equitably distributed, so it's affecting people. And so when the poor look at the rich, either they celebrate them or come for them. Do you understand? So that's what it means. So political development and peace, political development and peace, democratic governance, rule of law, and respect for human rights are essential for peace building. I think we discussed some of these things yesterday, on the first day. So when democratic processes are not conducted the way they're supposed to be conducted, then there's bound to be, there are bound to be, conflict, post-election, electoral violence, and all of that happening. Do you understand? Or even sometimes, you know, pre, during, and post. We used to see all of them. During election, we see conflict. Before the election, we see conflict. After election, we see conflict. Why? Because of, you know, some of those democratic processes are not being obeyed. All right. So the rule of law, when courts give judgment, we don't want to honor it. The rights of the people are being abused and nobody cares. You understand? So all of these things are sources of conflict. Do you understand? But if these things are being provided, when there's political stability and democracy or democratic processes are being enshrined, then I can assure you that we'll have peace. Environmental development and peace. Environmental development and peace. We're talking about the linkages, right? So environmental degradation and competition over scarce resources can be a source of what? Conflict. So when resources are being depleted, environmental resources are being depleted and there's scarcity, they will result to conflict. That's why we're talking about the issue of degradation, forestation, deforestation, and afforestation issues. So sustainable development practices and environmental conservation. Environmental conservation, some people just want to eat everything. In my place, we eat rats, right? So we hunted rats, they disappear. So there's rat. But if we go to the north now, you see rats moving around. Do you understand? They walk everywhere because they don't eat them there. So, but for my area, we eat them and make sure that they are in, they have been reduced to you suffer before you can get one. Do you understand? So that's what it means. So when there is no, I'm just giving you a local example of conservation. Do you understand? Conservation. So that's what we have game reserves, Yankari game reserves, where animals are being kept to make sure that nobody hunts there. They are there. Let them be hunting themselves and be surviving and then be reproducing so that they continue to be there. Do you understand? So that's what it means. So environmental uh, conserva- conservativity is also one of the things. Conflict prevention and peace building. In all our doings and in all that we do, please embed conflict prevention in it. Because in the course of doing your business, in the course of farming, in the course of doing your work, office work, there may bound to be conflict. So let there be mechanism to prevent conflict from occurring. Do you understand? So development initiatives can contribute to conflict prevention and peace building by addressing not just the causes but the root causes of conflict, promoting reconciliation, promoting reconciliation. If we know the importance of reconciliation, then we will institute a national reconciliation commission to reconcile Nigeria. Nigeria is still divided. And Nigeria must be reconciled. I'm just giving the example in my country. If the same is also in your country, you need to uh, talk about this thing, reconciliation. Did it in South Africa, South Africa is moving. Did it in Rwanda, Rwanda is moving. So we can do it in Nigeria, and Nigeria will move. Some of the things is not money, some of the things is not economic. It's just for us to reconcile and come back to ourselves and say, please, oh, I know we had differences. I know we are still having differences because of diversity and all of that, but let this diversity be our strength. We cannot be dividing our country. Let's love our people. Let's do inclusive government, all right, so that everybody and a child of nobody can also have opportunity. That's only and only time that we can have peace. So if we say this and we are committed to it, then so be it. But most of the time we say it and we do not commit to it. You understand? When we say the training is free, and maybe you were expecting that these people may not be serious because it's a free training. People having to come and listen to what I have to say is a privilege enough I should not abuse. Do you understand? It's a privilege enough that I should not abuse. So I give the whole of my strength to it, and I'm doing it with the whole of my passion. Do you understand? That's it. That's why we were to have simulation class by 4. I was online already expecting the people to join. They did not join. The other group was to do their own by 5. 5, I was online. We were able to do it. We finished like 20 minutes after 6. Do you understand? So you can see that I have been on online now for how many hours? That's I came from office and then I sit here and then I'm here for more than it's getting to 4 hours that I'm sitting here talking to you concerning this training, free training. So that is how passionate I'm about it. So if we can passionately decide to build our nation and everybody commit to sacrifice to it, that is, I sacrifice my interest for you. Go make our country beautiful. That is all I want. Another person, I sacrifice this. I sacrifice my own peace for your peace. Do you understand? Equitable distribution of resources, equitable distribution of jobs opportunities. This can reduce conflict. We carry out developmental plans without putting in place mechanism to prevent conflict. We just do things anyhow. You are conducting election as an electoral umpire, and then you are not putting conflict prevention mechanism in it. What do you expect? When conflict arises, how do you resolve it? That's why sometimes they will say, go to court. We are waiting for you there. So international development and peace, international development and peace. So the issue of development is not just at the national level. It cut across because we work in an environment now that is, you know, uh, interconnected. Do you understand? So, and the cost development is cutting across national boundaries because of globalization. Do you understand? Globalization of culture, globalization of technology, globalization of internet, and globalization of everything, trade, and so many factors. So the issue of international development is also a matter of concern. So cooperation, aid, and diplomacy play a crucial role in promoting peace and stability globally. You understand? So multilateral efforts and partnerships are essential for addressing transnational challenges and promoting sustainable development. And that's why when the Minister of Education came up and said that only universities in Togo are recognized. Do you know what that has done? It has damaged the image of education in the Republic before the large population of Nigeria. Do you understand what Nigerians? And do you know what that means? It means that Nigeria has successfully destroyed their bilateral relationship with their neighbors. You don't. When we understand you want to reduce the number of Nigerians that are going up, in a nearby neighbor countries to get education. We want to reduce the number, but this approach was wrong. And this thing happened because simply because of long strike issue, ASU, federal government, this one and this one, people got frustrated and began to look elsewhere to get their education. And they suddenly realized that people are going up in droves to go and get their education. And then the only thing you can come up with was just to make some of those kind of, you know, it was quite a very embarrassing situation, I must say. Do you understand? So but it has been done. So have you, since they say they will sack people that got the certificate from the, have you heard one sack? You will not hear anybody sack. They just wanted to reduce, make people to not to send their children to go and school there again, so that you know our education here can also receive massive population and all of that. That is it. Nobody is going to be sacked. Watch and see. Nobody. Until that's why they waited until the time of admission period, August, and then they came out with that because that is most That's the period when most people, most schools admit. Do you understand? And then they came up with that so that so, and you know, our Nigerian the way they think. But you know the damage to that diplomatic issues, international cooperation and relationship is battered and shattered. That is it. You cannot discredit an education of a country simply because you want to promote your own. No, no, no. Because there is also a place in international relationship that you can interact. So other strategies would have been put in place, but you know, we we organize policies and plans, conflict prevention mechanism. We just do it anyhow. Well, anyhow, if you feel it's your problem, do you understand? By the way, I've acquired my education in UK, I acquired my education in this and this and this. So post-conflict reconciliation and development. Post-conflict reconciliation and development. After conflict, sustainable development is essential for rebuilding, right? So these are, and then human development, human capital development and peace. Ultimately, development that focuses on improving the well-being and opportunities of individuals can contribute to a more peaceful world. So you take policies, government policies must focus on the well-being of its citizens, right? And that is only when policies will be embraced by the people, and then they will also work towards making sure that those policies are implemented for their own welfare and their well-being. You understand? So empowering individuals, and one of the empowerment is education, promoting human rights, and fostering inclusive societies are key elements of sustainable development. So this is how development and peace links what we call the nexus. Do you understand? It's a nexus. Some of you may want to see that word or the interlinkages. Do you understand? So that's what it means. I hope we are making sense. So I have like 17 minutes to take the next topic, and then we are done for today. Do you understand? Then we are done for today. So are we ready for that? Yes, of course. Once we do it, we are done for today. So I'm making progress. So if you have not liked this life, you like it, share it with someone, invite them to come and also take this free training. It's helping people, and you too, you are getting from it, and let others also benefit from it. Are we together? I hope we are together, right? So we are progressing. I hope you can hear me. Well, it seems to me that my network is, I'm not seeing, I'm not understanding. Can you still hear me? Hello, can you hear me? I want to know that you're hearing me because it seems like my network is hanging here, and I want to know that you can hear me. All right, since you can hear me, let's proceed. Let's proceed to take the last topic for today, and then we are done for good. So we're going to look at the historical perspective on sustainable development. Okay, I was trying to, when I was talking about introducing sustainable development, I tried to mention history, right? I mentioned the issue of Millennium Development Goals. So how did all of this come about? How did it start? Do you understand? So we are going to look at the historical aspect of sustainable development. Sustainable development is a concept that emerged in the late 20th century as a response to the increasing awareness of the environmental and social impacts of economic development. So, in 1970s, that is the origin. We're talking about the origins. 1970s, the concept of sustainable development gained traction in the 1970s with the publication of the report Limits to Growth. Limits Toward Growth by the Club of Rome in 1972. This report highlighted the finite nature of the Earth's resources and the need for a more sustainable approach to our development. So the resources are finite; they can finish. This crude oil that we see, that we have crude oil, we have crude oil in abundance. It's time it will finish. If we do not manage it well, it will finish. Do you understand? It will finish. Our rivers, why is it that we don't have ports in Kogi? Why is it that we don't have ports in Benue? Why is it that we don't have ports in Niger? We have, these are rivers, these are major rivers in the country. Why is it that we are not having seaport there? We're only having Lagos. I know we're trying to maybe have one in Calabar also, or in Akwa Ibom, whatever. So why are we not having all of this in cut across? Because our rivers are not deep. So during the Yar'Adua administration, they wanted to dredge our rivers so that they'll be deep enough to ship things. So that even Benue, Makurdi, you can see there will be a port there. Massive move development. River Niger, massive. But nowhere. Do you understand? So all of these things. So this, some of these resources can be cut off. Do you understand? Rivers can be encroached and then close up. Do you understand? So we need to dredge them. So some of these resources, no matter how you feel they are in abundance, if water, the earth is itself is full of water. It's covered, majority of the earth is covered with water. But we are talking about water scarcity. Drinkable water is scarce. Why? How much are you buying pure water? Sachet water, we call pure water here. How much are you buying it in your area now? This water that we feel is everywhere, right? But why is that sachet water is becoming expensive? If you go and drink anyhow, you carry typhoid. Even some of the sachet water, you drink typhoid that you carry. Do you understand? So these are some of the issues. So resources are finite. They are not infinite. Do you understand? They can finish. So this report talk about the limits to growth, and they outline the fact that the resources are finite, and of course we must put in effort to maintain sustainability. So after that, in 1987, the World Commission on Environment and Development also make effort and talk about some of these things in their publication. The term sustainable development was popularized by the World Commission on Environment and Development, also known as the Brundtland Commission, in its 1987 report, Our Common Future. Our Common what? Future. And this report defines sustainable development as a development that meets the needs of the present, that's the present generation, or the present, now we're here now, without compromising the ones of our children and our children's children. Do you understand? So that is what we're talking about here. So this was mentioned, and this report defines sustainable development in this way. And that's in 1987. And then in 1992, the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, the concept of sustainable development was further solidified at the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, also known as the 8th Summit, the 8th Summit. And we have been doing that every year. So held in Rio de Janeiro, that's Brazil, in 1992. So the summit produced the Rio Declaration on Environment and Development, and Agenda 21, a comprehensive plan of action for sustainable development. development. So you are seeing how this term is coming. And so in 2000 to 2015, we have what we call Millennium Development Goals. Do you understand? So the Millennium Development Goals, that's the MDGs, adopted by the United Nations in 2000, included a number of targets related to sustainable development, such as environmental sustainability, poverty reduction, and access to clean water and sanitation. Do you understand? So this was the focus. And some of these things were achieved, some to some extent were reduced, and all of that. But still, we are having problem, and more needs to be done. Because the issue of environment, we are still talking about the issue of climate change. Poverty is on the increase because of bad economic policies and because of conflicts here and there. Do you understand? This thing is exacerbating poverty. Even in the places where there were some efforts to reduce poverty, they have returned to square zero. Look at the issue of Palestine. Whatever they were known to be enjoying has been destroyed. Is it not back to square zero? I get a point now. So these are the issues. So sustainable development goals, which is what we are in now. This is what we are working on now from 2015, and then we have the since it's a 15-year lifespan, by 2030 we are done, and then we'll sit down and review and see what we have achieved and what we have not achieved, and the one we achieved well and the one we did not achieve well. Here areas we need to improve, what strategies can be adopted to make sure that we do better. And I think one of the things that we'll be talking about at most in the next plan should be about peace. Peace should be emphasized. You understand? Because with that we can be able to achieve some of these things. Now, where there is war here and there in the Middle East, in Sudan, South Sudan, in Central African Republic, in Dr. Congo, in Nigeria, in so many places, how can you expect development to happen in Ukraine, Europe, and in America? It cannot be possible. Do you understand? So, building on the MDGs, the United Nations adopted the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which we have explained. It took our time. We took our time to explain them and how we can address them to address a range of social, economic, and environmental issues and provide a framework for countries to work towards a more sustainable development. So, this is how the issue of sustainable development comes into being. So, but this is the right concept that we need for our development. Do you understand? Sustainable development will guarantee sustainable peace, and of course, sustainable peace will guarantee sustainable development. So I thank you so much for taking time to be part of today's training. You make it a worthwhile. We appreciate your commitment, your dedication, and all the comment sections people have been commenting. I'm seeing a question here. I'm seeing a question here. Let me see if I can take some of the question and then we'll go. My question is, I wasn't placed in any group for the ADR practicals, but I submitted my name when you requested it. As a result, I wasn't able to participate in the practical. However, I have attended all the classes except when I had network or other issues. So there's no issue. If you check the names very well. Some of you will say your name is not in the list, but your name is there. Go and check those groups very well and check it thoroughly. So if really you did not see your name, then from there we can address it. But go and check that list. Some of you will not check it. You take it so check it so lazy. Check it thoroughly. So your name is there. Check it very well. But in case we did not see your name, because some will come and say my name is not there. It's even the group members that will telling them your name is there. Do you understand? So go and check it very well. And the group is free. If your name is not there, comment that your name is not there, and then we'll fix you in a particular group. We have done just 4 groups, right? We have about 40 groups, so we have done 4. It means that we have 36 groups left. So it's left for you to indicate you just come on time so that we can assign you a group. Very, very important. So does this means I won't be able to get the certificate or write the exam for the ADR? Yes, If you do not participate in that practical, you are not going to write the exams, and of course, you will not get a certificate. That is just the conclusion of the matter. So if you don't have a group, I even say it in the group. I did a video, a voice record, and I share it in the group. I said, if you fail to participate in that group, in the practicals, ADR is not a theoretical course alone. We finish the theory, we are doing the practicals, demonstrate it. So if you cannot do it, we are not issuing you a certificate because we don't know what you will go and do with the certificate if we do not demonstrate the practicals. So we want to see so that areas where you did not do well will put you through. If you watch what group 4 presented today, their errors, their mistakes, little mistakes, we're able to observe and they learn from it. Do you understand? That's how it is. So if you refuse to participate, you will not get certificate, and you will not, in fact, you will not write the exams because we're using the group solely for the examination. So please, if you don't have a group, we still have 36 groups left to indicate your interest now. We will fix you there. I'm talking about ADR. I'm not talking about peace and sustainable development. So for those of you that did not do training on alternative dispute resolution, this discussion is not your own. So thank you very much. Because some of you will be confused and be asking me questions. So please, if you did not do any training on alternative dispute resolution, this question that I have just answered now does not concern you. So forget about it. Do you understand? So that is it. So do we have any question? No. So thank you very much. We'll see you by tomorrow, 7 p.m. for another course. But you can also join the simulation class by 4 p.m. We have 2 groups to present tomorrow as well, 4 to 5 and then 5 to 6. You can also learn from them. Maybe next year, when we are organizing alternative dispute resolution, you can also join. And then you must have learned from what they are doing so that when it comes to your time, you can do better. Do you understand? So you can also join when we are live by 4 to just be part of the simulation classes and learn what is going on. It's an interactive session, and I think it's a good experience to be a part of. So thank you very much. We'll um, by see you by tomorrow, 7 p.m. Bye.